Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 103. Without any delay, start explanation. As students of the legendary Shrek Academy, none of Tang Wulin's group were particularly impressive. In spite of that, they were still stronger than soul beasts of the 3,000-year level. The four ice bears knew this, and indicative of their intelligence, they chose to engage in a battle of energy. Nothing short of an ironclad defense could endure their omnidirectional attack. Guu paled at this realization. Facing one ice bear of this level would be no problem for her if she used elemental tide, but the combined force of all four bears was a different story. Relax, Guu. Tang Wulin shouted as he activated his purple demon eyes and charged into the blizzard. Follow me. The blizzard put Tang Wulin's team under considerable pressure. Yuan Yehue summoned her Titan Giant Ape Martial Soul and used her third soul skill, Diamond Titan. Her body swelled with strength, but even so, she was just as affected by the blizzard as her teammates. Only attacking the ice bears would dispel it, and Tang Wulin's purple demon eyes could pierce through the flurry of snow and locate the bears. Then, out of nowhere, the pressure of the icy onslaught eased up. For the first time since they entered the tower, Xu Xiaoyan took action. Ice wheels shot out one after another, spinning in the air to suck the swirling snow away from the team. Since Xu Xiaoyan could also wield the element of ice, she had a connection with the blizzard. She could control the blizzard to some extent, and each one of the ice wheels she summoned could weaken it. Although she only had 2 soul rings, control was her forte. The effects of her efforts were clear. As Tang Wulin approached the bears, one of them suddenly roared. To his surprise, the 4 bears turned tail and ran off in different directions. How crafty! Are they planning on keeping us at a distance and letting their blizzard do all the work? Tang Wulin's eyes shined a brilliant purple as the realization occurred to him. No. I can't let them do that. If I do, we lose. Xiaoyan. Tang shouted. Attack with Yuan and Zhengyu. Guu, protect Shu Lishi and Xie Xie. We're splitting up. Then he darted off to the side, rushing deep into the blizzard. One of the ice bears suddenly stumbled and fell to the floor with a groan, the blizzard growing weaker. Tang Wulin had used the spiritual attack of his purple demon eyes, disturbing the bear's focus and impairing its mind. Resisting the storm of ice raging around him, Tang Wulin charged onward. Blue-silver grass rapidly spread toward his target. As long as he defeated this ice bear, the blizzard would drastically weaken and it would be far easier to deal with the rest. But he was underestimating the ice bear. The bear slashed out with its claws, shredding the encroaching blue-silver grass to bits, then curled up into a ball and rolled away, retreating across the icy floor. This bastard! Tang Wulin's 3 soul rings disappeared, a single golden ring appearing in their stead. Powerful waves of blood essence rippled from his body as golden scales appeared on his right arm and torso. As blood essence surged through him, the biting cold no longer hindered him, and he instantly sped up. A few meters from his prey, Tang Wulin stomped the ground and pounced on the rolling bear. He landed right in front of it, his dragon claw brandished threateningly. The ice bear used the momentum of its roll to fling itself forward, immediately standing upright and lashing out with its own claws. Tang Wulin met the bear's claws with his own, and a shockwave erupted from the resulting collision. This 3,000-year ice bear could generate at least 5,000 kilograms worth of force, and there was no way Tang Wulin could compete with that. The clash sent him flying backward, but the bear wasn't unharmed either. Its right claw had been crushed by Tang Wulin's dragon claw. Tang Wulin stabbed his claw into the ground, skidding to a grinding halt, and then he charged forward once more. He directed his blood essence to flow according to the path of dragon shocks the heavens, and its strength instantly increased by several times. Although he still couldn't use dragon shocks the heavens to its fullest potential, after the incident that happened the other day, he discovered that he could now control the flow of his blood essence to an extent. Now he could move it around his body like soul power, empowering certain parts of himself. This method rapidly drained his blood essence, but it also provided him with an explosive burst of power. He reversed the flow of his blood essence and concentrated it in his right arm. The scales on his arm began to shine brilliantly, dyeing the surrounding snowfall with golden light. Unleashing a ferocious roar, he charged at the bear. Icy blue light exploded from the bear as it nursed its wounded claw. It launched itself forward and rolled toward Tang Wulin once more, resembling an enormous ball of ice. Tang Wulin felt neither joy nor fear. He activated Golden Dragon Body and his blood essence ascended yet another level, golden light bursting from his body. Furthering strengthening his claw, he punched at the ice bear. A boom tore through the air, sending tremors throughout the hall. Everyone turned toward the noise to see a flash of golden light. The blizzard died off in that area, revealing Tang Wulin standing there alone. He stumbled back to his companions, then steadied himself. His right arm trembled visibly. Only he knew what had just happened. In its ball form, the ice bear had increased attack and defense power, but it had faced Tang Wulin's dragon claw, which had been enhanced by both Golden Dragon Body and reversed blood essence flow. In the instant before the two had collided, a foot-long beam of golden light had shot out of the fist to slice apart the bear's defenses. Then a split second later, the fist came rushing in. The bear's body had been blown away with a single punch. Although Tang Wulin had been knocked back by the rebound, the bear was dead. It had lost in a barbaric contest of pure force. Tang Wulin panted for breath, his right arm spasming as he worked to regulate his internal energies. He may not have used much soul power, but the amount of blood essence he consumed was enormous. Using Golden Dragon Body and reverse blood essence flow at the same time left him drained. Yet, after doing so, the blizzard clearly weakened. Sensing that their comrade had fallen, the three remaining bears roared with rage. These roars soon became mournful, and the blizzard gradually dissipated. Xu Xiaoan had used her purple demon eyes to lead Yuan and Yehui and Yu Jingyu to the remaining three bears. However, just as Yuan and Yehui was about to finish off the last ice bear, Tang Wulin shouted, "Don't kill it just yet." Yuan and Yehui turned to Tang Wulin, confusion in her eyes as she watched him direct his blue-silver grass. "We'll just restrain it for now to buy some time to rest and recover," he explained as the grass slithered over to tie up the surviving ice bear. He then turned to Xu Xiaoyan. "Are you sure you want this one, Xiaoyan?" The four ice bears had actually been quite powerful and could be considered top-tier 1,000-year soul beasts. Furthermore, these bears were of the 3,000-year level, which was perfect for Xu Xiaoyan. She would be in danger if she absorbed a spirit soul that was too strong for her, so Tang Wulin wanted her to be certain. And Xu Xiaoyan nodded immediately. Even if there was a chance of encountering stronger ice attribute soul beasts later on, she wasn't tempted to try her luck. If they encountered such beasts, they would still have to defeat them. In addition to that, she would have to be strong enough to fuse with the resulting spirit soul. Desire was all well and good, but greed definitely wasn't. Besides, she liked how fearsome the ice bears were. She had no doubt that fusing with one of their spirit souls would greatly increase her strength. She especially hoped to obtain their blizzard ability. With it, she would be able to exhibit a wider range of control and even work with Guu. "Quick!" Tang Wulin said to Xu Lixi as he sat down. "Give me 10 pork buns." Xu Lixi rolled his eyes. "I don't give buns away, I sell them." "But, fine. I have a pork bun." Tang Wulin chuckled as he took the pork bun that appeared and devoured it. His stomach instantly converted the bun into a flood of blood essence that rapidly restored his reserves. After eating a few, Tang Wulin realized that each bun provided very little soul power. Considering the fact that they came from Xu Lixi's first soul skill, it made sense. The important thing was how they restored stamina. Soul masters usually disregarded physical stamina since soul power was far more potent, but Tang Wulin definitely didn't. He could convert his stamina into blood essence, so these buns were perfect for him. Xu Lixi's first soul skill didn't eat up too much of his soul power, so he was an excellent match for Tang Wulin. The rest of the team quickly gathered by the tied-up ice bear and began resting as well. Compared to the previous trials, the ninth exhibited a sharp increase in difficulty. The rest of the team understood that, if not for Tang Wulin's quick decision-making, they would have been in trouble. The blizzard had drastically restricted their vision and only those with purple demon eyes could see through the veil of swirling snow. They had been quite lucky. Their team composition countered this trial. Xu Xiaoyan walked over to the tied-up ice bear, which now resembled a giant rice dumpling, and gently rubbed its head. "I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you're real or if you're an illusion, but I'm really sorry about this. We couldn't just sit back and let you attack us. You are quite cute though. Nice and chubby. You look reliable." The ice bear seemed to be taken aback by her words, but it quickly regained its composure and continued to regard her coldly. "I've decided," Xu Xiaoyan muttered to herself, her eyes shining with resolve. "I want an ice bear for my second spirit soul. I know you probably don't want to join me since we killed your friends, but the Spirit Soul Tower will reward me with an ice bear spirit soul once we kill you. There's nothing I can do about that, and I'm sorry. You'll be able to rest easy though. I'll treat my ice bear spirit soul really well." Fear flashed in the ice bear's eyes, and it let out a low roar. "So, how do you want to die?" "I think Wulin pummeled his bear to death. It was a cruel way to go. I couldn't even bring myself to look at the corpse. Don't worry, I won't be so harsh with you. I'll make sure you die in one piece. How does that sound?" Blue light flashed and a spear of ice condensed in her hand. She brandished it right in front of the bear, the tip nearly touching its eye. "I'll make it quick so you don't feel too much pain. I sincerely hope you're just a virtual projection and not a real ice bear. If you're real, I pray that, in your next life, you'll be able to hide far away from humans. That your next life will be a good one." The bear roared frantically, its eyes filled with terror. "Huh? What did you say?" Xu Xiaoyan stared at it in bewilderment, but the bear only continued to roar in panic. "You're not making any sense. I don't speak bear. Well, I guess I'll get it over with. Bye." Xu Xiaoyan hefted her spear, poised to strike, but the ice bear roared once more. Instead of fear or frustration, a hint of sad resignation could be heard. Without warning, the bear's body collapsed in on itself and turned into specks of light. These tiny lights then formed a miniature ice bear that floated toward Xu Xiaoyan. Using one of its claws, it pointed at her, then pointed at itself. Xu Xiaoyan beamed. "You want to be my spirit soul? Really?" The bear grunted and nodded vigorously. "But I'm not forcing you to. Are you sure you want to?" Xu Xiaoyan gave it a sweet smile. The miniature ice bear nodded. "All right then. I accept." In reality, Xu Xiaoyan had planned to tease the ice bear for a while as soon as she saw how cute it was. But she never expected the bear to be so afraid of dying that it would willingly become her spirit soul. She had a vague feeling that fusing with a spirit soul in this way had more merits than fusing with the spirit soul that the Spirit Soul Tower provided. Because of this, she accepted immediately. The ice spear disappeared from her hand and she sat down. The little bear then flew into her body, exploding upon contact and enveloping her with a frosty mist. "Captain," she exclaimed in embarrassment. "We might need to cut our break short." The moment she began fusing with the ice bear spirit soul, the electronic voice resounded throughout the room. "Ninth trial cleared. You may choose to absorb a 3,000-year ice bear spirit soul or continue ascending." Tang Wulin turned to Guu. "What do you think we should do?" "We need to continue," Guu responded. "We're still obligated to help you in Yehui. If we stop here, her only option will be to absorb the ice bear spirit soul. Xiaoyan will be fine if we leave her here. She'll be sent out once she finishes fusing with her new spirit soul." Xu Xiaoyan had found a suitable spirit soul, so now it was Yuan and Yehui's turn. "Okay then. We're continuing," Tang Wulin declared. He was in high spirits since he had eaten over a dozen pork buns. In contrast, Xu Lishi was a little haggard from continuously using his first soul skill. "Let's go." With Tang Wulin in the lead, 6 people entered the Door of Light, leaving Xu Xiaoyan behind to focus on fusing with the ice bear spirit soul. Icy mist hung around her as her body pulsed with soul power. The mist slowly gathered behind her, taking on the faint shape of a miniature ice bear. Then it began entering her body, and her aura started to transform. A golden star appeared on her forehead, the surrounding mist awash with a noble light. Sun with rays. When Tang Wulin stepped through the door of light into the hall of the 10th trial, he was shocked to discover that this hall was completely different from previous ones. Instead of having an octagonal shape, the hall his team of 6 now stood in was round. Instead of 8 metal doors, there was only a single one that stood 30 meters tall and 20 meters wide. Just as Guu had said, the first 9 trials were one level and now they were on the second level. Yuan and Yehue's eyes lit up. Now that Xu Xiaoyan had found a spirit soul, it was her turn. Her Titan giant ape was a power-type martial soul, so she had to find a martial soul that matched it. However, she sought a spirit soul for her 4th soul ring, which was a drastically different situation than Xu Xiaoyan getting one for her 3rd. Yuan and Yehue could support a spirit soul around the 4,000-year level, and having a pair of peak-level martial souls meant that she could push that limit to the 6,000-year level. We'll probably be facing only one beast at a time from now on, Tang Wulin said. Be on your guards. The moment these words left his mouth, the gigantic door gradually began to open. They couldn't even see the beast, yet an oppressive wave of strength washed over them. A loud rumbling resounded from beyond the doorway, then another. One violent shake after another traveled through the hall, growing stronger and stronger until a gargantuan being stepped into view. It stood at over 10 meters in height, its body covered in dark violent scales and had to weigh at least 5,000 kilograms. It stood on 4 legs, and it touted gigantic tail that whipped the air behind it. The ground quaked with every step it took. At first glance, it simply looked like a giant lizard. However, its head was far larger than that of a normal lizard, and 2 horns sprouted out from it. It's a demon lizard dragon! Xie exclaimed. In the distant past, the demon lizard dragon was known as a mighty, savage land dragon. Despite its enormous body, it was strangely agile, and it controlled the darkness element. It would slaughter other soul beasts not for food, but pleasure. It possessed an extremely aggressive nature, and just like the man-faced demon spider, it was considered an outcast in the world of soul beasts. The demon lizard dragon was a soul beast only mentioned in ancient texts. It was their first time seeing such a beast in person. It raised its head to the sky, its powerful aura exploding forth as it unleashed an ear-piercing roar. A shockwave of sound struck Tang Wulin and his 6 companions, leaving them rattled. It was almost as if they had just experienced a spiritual attack. Xie and Xu Lixi, the 2 people of their group that were weak in spiritual power, instantly went pale. Tang Wulin, however, charged forward without hesitation. Let me handle this. Both Yuan and Yehue and Yu Jingyu frowned at the idea of Tang Wulin going in alone. The demon lizard dragon in front of them was definitely above the 4,000-year level, and like any other draconic beast, it was extremely powerful and savage. Just let him handle it, Guu said, already sitting on the ground off to the side. She didn't even bother looking to see how Tang Wulin was doing before closing her eyes to meditate. We can use this time to rest. The demon lizard dragon had a fiery temper, so Tang Wulin's approach was more than enough to draw its full attention. It pounced at Tang Wulin at an unimaginable speed that didn't match its bulk, one that would leave any who saw it move flabbergasted. 6 webbed wings spread from its back while its tail whipped at the ground and hissed through the air. The room seemed to grow dim, and the dragon reached Tang Wulin in the blink of an eye, its mouth open wide to devour him. At that moment, a low roar shook the room. Yu Jingyu and Yuan and Yehue stopped their bickering and turned to see Tang Wulin soar into the air, his body surrounded in golden light. A golden soul ring appeared around him, and the roar grew to its full intensity, the air trembling before its draconic majesty. In the face of this mighty roar, the arrogant demon lizard dragon froze in mid-air. Then its wings went limp and it crashed to the ground with a dull rumble. This scene left everyone stupefied, overwhelmed by confusion. They saw Tang Wulin drop through the air and neatly land atop the demon lizard dragon's head. He readied his claw, then thrust it into the back of the dragon's head, burying his entire arm into its skull and piercing into its brain. The dragon's body spasmed for a moment, then went still. Yu Jingyu and Yuan and Yehue stood there dumbstruck, racking their brains to try and make sense of what they just witnessed. Yuan Yehue was confident in her strength, but she knew it would be a challenge for her to take down a 4,000-year demon lizard dragon on her own. Yet Tang Wulin single-handedly slaughtered the beast as easily as cutting paper. This was simply inconceivable. Tang Wulin turned to his team with a casual look on his face, almost as if nothing noteworthy had happened. On the inside, however, he was actually quite surprised. The second he engaged the demon lizard dragon in battle, Tang Wulin used Golden Dragon Body and reversed the flow of his blood essence. The aura of the Golden Dragon King exploded from his body and stunned the dragon, leaving it open to Tang Wulin's attack. This made its demise a swift one, but when he thrust his right arm into the dragon's head, a warm energy flowed into him and caused his blood essence to flare up. The energy stimulated his blood essence and pushed Dragon Shocks the Heavens from 80% to 85%. Tang Wulin needed to practice restraint when progressing with Dragon Shocks the Heavens. According to his original expectations, it was supposed to be incomparably harder for him to finish the last 20% of Dragon Shocks the Heavens, more so than all 80% he had completed thus far. Yet he had just made a month's worth of progress in the blink of an eye. Killing draconic soul beasts makes me stronger? I never felt anything like this in the Spirit Ascension platform. Is it because this demon lizard dragon is real? Just as the idea formed in his mind, the demon lizard dragon faded into particles of light and disappeared. The electronic voice sounded off once more, announcing that they had 10 seconds to decide if they wanted the demon lizard dragon martial soul. Yuan Yehue simply waved at Tang Wulin dismissively, a wry smile on her lips. It had been killed in one shot by Tang Wulin. There was no way she would choose such a fragile spirit soul. As he rejoined his companions, Tang Wulin thought about the sensation of that warm energy entering his body. It seemed to him that, after breaking another Golden Dragon King seal, his blood essence had grown stronger along with his influence on draconic soul beasts. He was certain that the demon lizard dragon wouldn't have been so affected by him otherwise. It had just been bad luck for it to encounter him. If it had at least refrained from flying into the air, its death wouldn't have been so brutal. Having completed 10 trials, they understood just how much time they had to recover between each one. Tang Wulin's team of 6 didn't enter the Golden Door until the last possible second. Once they did, they found that the 11th floor was the same as the 10th. Only a single gigantic door stood in the hall. True to form, the door slowly slid open. This time, however, there was no burst of oppressive might. Every floor contained soul beasts far stronger than the one before it, especially from the 9th floor onward. They were now on the 11th floor, and there was no way the coming trial would be easier than the previous ones. Careful, everyone. Triangle formation. Tang Wulin commanded. His soul rings appeared around him as blue-silver grass came twisting out of the ground to secure the perimeter. Tang Wulin now spearheaded their triangle formation. Yuan Yehue and Yu Jingyu flanked him as the other 2 points of their formation. It was their job to protect their 3 teammates inside of the triangle. With a twirl of her hands, Yu sent out 3 green lights to her guards, boosting their agility. Yu Jingyu and Yuan Yehue weren't even fazed by the versatility of Yu's martial soul anymore. They had tried to figure out just how great her abilities were in the previous trials, but she never revealed the full extent of her hand. They could only tell that her martial soul was capable of providing just as much well-timed support as it could dish out damage, and that she had many elements at her disposal. It was their first time encountering such an incomprehensible martial soul. Soon enough, a refreshing scent wafted to their noses. It smelled of air after a long day of baking in the sun. Yet all it did was make Tang Wulin even more cautious. He narrowed his eyes as he stared at the gaping doorway, and blue-silver grass instantly shot up to form a dense net around them. A split second later, lightning shot out of the doorway and bombarded the net with a thunderous crash. The explosive impact left their ears ringing. A shockwave rippled from the point of impact in the net, and Tang Wulin groaned under the strain. He struggled to support their defense, his entire body going numb in the process. Only then did the attacker finally step out of the darkness beyond the doorway. The strength of the soul beasts they faced before seemed to match their size, but that wasn't the case for this one. It was actually quite small, standing at about a foot in height, with tiny yet sharp claws, and sported large violet-blue eyes. It also had bright sunny fur that Tang Wulin and the others had never seen on a soul beast before. The color extended to its tail, which was shaped like a lightning bolt. Electromagnetic power propelled it through the air, currents of electricity coursing through its body as it headed toward them. "Is that a thunder beast?" Xie sputtered. Confusion filled Tang Wulin, Zhu Lishi, and Yuan and Yehue. Gu knitted her brow in thought. Yu Jingyu, on the other hand, had realization written all over his face. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.